Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
There we are. A good Friday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, presented by Sentinel Storage. Thank you to everyone for listening live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio for those watching live on YouTube, as well as thank you to those listening to us via podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Matt Iwanyk, Glue Guy, hashtag Glue Crew here. My best friend.
Thank you. Well, it's official. Thank you.
Am I your best friend?
Yes.
Are you going to say it?
Matt, you're my best friend.
Thank you. Thank you.
That
is a whole, it's actually a whole Corner Gas episode. I don't know anyone that watched. Well, there was a character who would say, these are my friends, and then name someone her friend, and that's Lacey. And then she's like, are we friends? And then there was like this whole conversation of like, am I your friend? She's like, yes, you're a friend. And she's like, I need you to say you're my friend. And she's like, you are a friend.
Oh,
like,
no.
And it was like, that was like the whole premise of the episode.
I could understand the frustration there.
So it was...
but you can have more than one best friend.
I think so.
You can have multiple best friends.
I believe best friends, make sure it's the S at the end.
Yeah. Did I give you that pen?
No.
That is. I thought that was your style.
I had to have.
You're the person that uses these pens.
Yes.
So no, I like
those are the best pens known to man.
I remember I was thinking. So my okay. Well, Jasmine's also returning to the show.
Round of clicks for Jazzy. Sorry,
and we will get to the Oilers here.
Yeah,
so my mom gave me a bag of pens that she was getting rid of from her place, and this was in there. She's like, "I know you like these pens." I was like, "Well, I do." And I'm thinking, like, did I see this on a TV show? Like, who am I thinking of has these small pens? Like these, because they're really nice. They hold well.
They write well. They're from the Fairmont.
I was going to say they're hotel pens, right?
Fairmont. Yeah. And it's you.
Yeah. Every time I go to Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge, I take everyone they have and they replenish them every day. So I load up.
I could bring you a couple.
And I'm not bashful about it. I'm taking them.
Yeah, anywhere. Hilton, all those.
Like, give me that hotel pen.
Too.
I've liked it for now. Like I was on my Sharpie kick, but they're dying on me. So then I've used this pen.
No,
right
they're
now.
fantastic.
And it's just and I don't know why I brought it in here. I never bring it in here. But yeah, it's a nice holding pen. You're the guy that would.
That's it. That just connects us deeper.
Yes. Okay. I was just trying to. I'm like, did I see it on a TV show? Like, was it on this show?
You did see it on you saw it on the Reed Wilkins show.
But yeah, it's you. You have good taste.
Thank you.
You have great taste.
My wife would agree. What?
Yeah.
What?
Nothing. I just
not something best friends say. Jasmine, how's the leg?
Yo, I'm back. It's been a really hard few weeks.
Do you want to get up and do some jumping jacks, or how solid are we on the foot here?
I can't jump yet. I can't run yet.
But you're out of the boot.
But I'm out of the boot.
Not sure everybody can see.
I can walk. I can put weight on it.
You drove here?
I drove here.
So careful on the roads. I have it at 11 o'clock.
Man, it was nice to drive.
What's it like to get your driving freedom back?
Oh, it was unreal. And then all the anger came back when I saw the stupids on the road. But other than that, it was fabulous.
Yeah, that would do it to you.
Yeah, but it was nice. It was nice listening to EST again on the car. And, it was just, I'm back and I'm ready to talk about Oilers and with NFL draft, got NBA. Like, there's just so much going on.
Canucks wrapped up the season last week.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Your conversation with the commish.
We had a great conversation with the commish, Stuart Johnston.
Big Uke, did we plan outfits today?
I know, right?
Actually, it's white over here, white over there, with then the two soccer kits.
Yeah.
Although, as Adam says, Inter Miami, otherwise known as losers against Whitecaps yesterday. Love the football swag, though. Today, or footy swag, as actually Vancouver Whitecaps beat Inter Miami in the first leg of a 2-leg semifinal. This is actually a pretty big deal. So,
right?
It's actually really cool to see that. Yeah. And then, the Whites, like, look at us go. Look at us go. That's as much. Maybe we will later get to CONCACAF Champions League. Maybe closer to the end.
Maybe.
We'll discuss it quickly. Well, it's actually a pretty big deal. But in this city, not as big of a deal as what's coming up tonight, just after 8 o'clock down at Rogers Place. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, Tommy's on location.
Well, that's not at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I know it starts at 6:30. But he's there.
GCLD's Oil Stream pregame show live at the Canadian Ice House for Tommy, but it's Game 3, Oilers and Kings tonight. Oilers looking to get their first win of the series, catch a spark from the home crowd. This is obvious. Pivotal game. I'm not worried. I'll just throw that out there. I think the Oilers got this one.
I'm not either. But I choose to be more optimistic. I referred to Reed and I yesterday as the optimistics, but it's actually optimists. Because what are you going to do? You're just going to lay down and say, "Oh, they've got our number. The Oilers can't beat them. They can't beat that defensive pressure that LA has. They can't beat Kemper." Yeah, they can.
Yes, they can.
Absolutely, they can. They just need to get it together. I think here's my one sentence or two sentence rundown or breakdown of this series. LA is playing up here. Edmonton's playing down here. LA can't play up here forever. It's just not gonna. Maybe this
series they could.
Sure, but if LA comes down to here and the Oilers actually decide to play, then the difference is Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl-ish. And if they turn it on, which they can, then I think they can get back into the series. No problem. Now, I don't even want to talk about if they lose tonight because it's focusing on winning tonight. Yeah. Win this game tonight.
Score first.
I would totally agree with that as well.
That is key.
Come out of the gate, get on them, get them down. They haven't trailed in this series. So there's no reason to just completely throw this out and say, "Oh, they're gone. They're losers. They can't handle this." See what tonight brings. If maybe they can.
And I say this so many times, and I get it. Like coming into EST and seeing like Nasties and like the fan base now, and looking inside in is like I didn't realize how bad the fans can get on this team after a game 2 away game. Like relax, allow them to correct themselves today. It's crazy how people think it's over. It's a sweep. I hate these words. Stop it.
I can completely understand the criticism. It's
analysis at that point.
As a fan,
I think there's nothing wrong with
I
think, and this is Hangout Headlines brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club. From premier golf facilities to the corporate branded products to Ranch, all-in-one tournament host. Proud host over 180 tournaments each year, including the EST Golf Classic. Here to help you execute all your tournament ideas. Book your tournament today or book your tee time. It's a beautiful next couple of days. Visit theranchgolf.com. Like Reed came on the Hangout yesterday. Reed was on your show yesterday, his show yesterday. And he put, what have the Oilers done well through 2 games to give you confidence that they can go get these wins? And I think that's where some Oilers fans are. Through 2 games, the Oilers are losing every single category to the LA Kings.
Yes.
And that's through 2 games. That's not through 1 game. So I do understand why people are frustrated and understand why people don't think that the Oilers are going to be able to necessarily turn this around because they've seen no glimpses necessarily out of that outside of 10 minutes in the third period, maybe 15 minutes in the third period of game 1. The LA Kings have dominated them through 5 of 6 periods.
True, but it's like the Oilers have a momentum, and like once the goal goes in, it just kills everything. And I think prior to that, they had it. They were rushing the goalie. They were making shots, and then it should have been 2-2. And then Stu should have had 2 of the goals, and everybody just gets sad and down, and it sucks. Like it does. It's you feel defeated. But it's a whole new game today, and we're at home. Let's defend our home ice.
Reed made an excellent point as well. This is like the Reed gratification show, but he says a lot of very smart and astute things. So you got to give him his flowers. Also a best friend of mine, Reed.
I love when he actually kind of leans back in his chair because he's about to say something really.
And the hands get going. The hands start.
Something
and he goes in and he says, "Okay."
Yeah, there's something very profound coming.
When he throws the hands out towards the screen, that you're getting something electric. But he made a great point. It's easy to sit here and it's easy to analyze and fault the Oilers' mistakes because there have been plenty of defensive gaffes, forwards on gaffes, Stuart Skinner gaffes. It's not, blaming one person. It's just been the team has not been moving in the same direction at the same time. That's easy to point out. Point out where LA has completely cost them.
Really made a mistake.
And made a huge glaring mistake that ends up in the back of their net. They haven't really had one, right? Where the Oilers have been giving them out like, smarties.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like.
But then you brought up a great point yesterday when I was driving home listening. Is that where I think some people could be concerned about this team is when are they going to fix those mistakes for the Edmonton Oilers?
Exactly.
When is there the film session? When is there the practice session? You asked Reed, why did they not fly back after the game a couple nights ago? And it was, well, it's playoffs. They don't generally do that. And one of the things Reed said too was they don't practice as much in the playoffs. So if you're not practicing as much, and if, you know, when are they going to have time to correct these mistakes for the Edmonton Oilers? They haven't done it through 84 games of the season. Why believe that they're going to get it done for game 85, 86, 87, 88?
Well, and it's almost like LA game planned to exploit that. Game planned to create havoc in the Oilers zone and make them chase the puck, make the Oilers chase the puck, you go back to the game 2 and the goal, Byfield goal on Stuart Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can blame 4 of the Oilers on the ice, maybe even 5 out of the 6 that were on the ice for that goal. You can't just put that on Skinner. You can't just put that on Nurse climbing up the wall. You can't put that on Bouchard backing off of Byfield. You can't just put that on Skinner who stayed in the back of his net. I mean, that's just something that has been game planned for. See, Oilers need to recognize that and address it and maybe shorten things up, tighten things up. It's always easy to say. I don't know how easy and practical it is to put on the ice. But to simplify their game, do your job, take care of your role, do your job, and good things will happen, right? I really hope that they can just simplify their game and get back, to play that team defensive style. They're not gonna out hit you. They're not gonna punish you in the corners. But together collectively, I think they can do that if they can just rein that in, focus.
Yeah, I mean, they're also returning home now after so many days. They were out there for over a week?
They flew out Tuesday night, it would have been, or Tuesday afternoon. They played San Jose on Wednesday. They stayed in San Jose until I think Saturday and then flew back yesterday. So yesterday was Thursday. They flew out on a Tuesday. So 8 days? Is that 8 days? Or is that 9 days?
It's still a very long time.
9 days.
Come home, see their families, see what they're playing for. It's going to be different. And I honestly believe Rogers is louder than Crypto. And I think we can come up with more funny stuff than Crypto too. With the chants, there's got to be a chant tonight.
Oh, I don't know. I'll throw this out there. Through the Oilers playoff runs last few years, I haven't heard the chants too much against the other team that it's always just the goalie's name.
Yeah, whatever.
I really enjoyed from an objective perspective, the "We Want Skinner" after he gets pulled is a brilliant chant from their fan base.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, so
brilliant
good.
chant.
Top shelf. Yeah, very well done.
Like I would have never expected that from LA.
Yeah.
I would have thought at one point when Pickard went in, they started chanting. I think at one point they were actually chanting Pickard. I was listening closely because I thought they'd probably be chanting Skinner because I'm like, well, these guys don't know what they're doing down there. They do. They're the ones that were there. They know what they're doing. So I do expect Oilers fans to show up.
Absolutely.
The only worry I have, though, is what if they give up that first goal?
Yeah.
Eric brought up a good point today. I'm just pointing out all the good points other people make. I should come up with
Well,
my
there's
own.
great content.
I need to come up with some of my own.
Content here.
I need to come up with some original takes. Otherwise, what am I doing with this show? It's just grab stuff from every show, bring it on here. As fans, you are in effect the 7th person on the ice for the team. You have a job, to me, and I believe this too. You go to a game, and soccer culture is this. You go to the game to bring an atmosphere, to bring an energy, to pump up the team, to get them going. Belzy's talked about this on the Hangout a lot. Like there's if you're loud when you're coming out there, how could you not be playing? But if the Oilers give out the first goal, which way is this crowd going to go? Is this crowd going to get quiet and nervous, which doesn't help the Edmonton Oilers? Or is this crowd going to go, screw that, and bring the energy, bring the noise to tell the team, we're behind you, we got you, and help pump them up? I lean towards the former.
I don't. I lean towards the latter. Until it's too far. This
What
team.
do you mean too far?
Well, if let's say, set up a hypothetical here. The Oilers get down early, or maybe not even early.
I'd say it's 1-0.
3 quarters through the first period.
I was going to go into the second, but okay. 1-0, 5 minutes left.
The
in the
vibes
first.
will still be high. The rah, let's go Oilers, come back. If that happens to go to 2, I think that could become problematic and quiet the crowd.
I also, though, Mark, I'm concerned about right a face-off after the goal. That's that key moment.
get
to
it
me.
going.
Oh,
That's where it's
Yeah.
the Kings score. It's quiet. I get that. Kings celebrate. As soon as, there's music playing, as soon as the ref's going or the linesman's going to take his 16 attempts to drop the puck,
Ugh.
bring the noise, bring the atmosphere, chant, let's go Oilers, like do all
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
and bring it to them. And I'll be curious if we see that, how Rogers Place does respond.
Even just some crazy saves because we haven't seen I don't know who's in net today, probably Pickard, but stand on their head.
10:30, the Oilers are on the ice for morning skate. So we'll find out around 10:30-ish what's going on the ice.
Okay.
As we head into the lock shop and then the Oil stream at noon today, we'll have the thoughts from the Oilers and Chris Knobloch.
Yeah, and get the crowd going in that sense as well. Make good saves. That will give the crowd some confidence.
I'll
Not good
add on
saves,
to that.
real saves, actually.
I'll add
Yeah.
onto that. Go hit someone.
Yeah.
Like if you're Evander Kane, if you're some of those players, just go and hit a couple guys early in that game, and the crowd will cheer that. The crowd will build off of that energy.
Who's gonna hit?
Well, Evander Kane,
Yeah, okay.
I'd almost
okay.
start him on the ice in
Sure.
first shift.
Run
if I was
somebody. I
Chris
said that yesterday.
Whoever
Yeah.
has the puck, go hit him.
Now
just
the problem
go
is
get those.
the power play of the Kings has not been favorable to
But
the
it's not a
Oilers.
penalty.
Well,
I'm not saying
yeah.
I'm saying they're up on the boards. You go and you lay them into the boards. They have that puck. You make sure you are physical on these guys early because it's not just for the team to give you a jump. You will get the crowd going. I've seen. I remember maybe Evander Kane did it last year in the playoffs, but I remember when Zach Cassian would go do it. And I've been there in those playoff games or in some of those regular season games that were very amped up.
Just finish the check.
He'd go out there and he'd finish a check, and the crowd loved it. And
Yeah.
there's just that little extra buzz
Sure.
and energy. Do that early. Get the crowd in it early like that.
You know what might be is even more alarming than just the situation the Oilers have found themselves in and the domination that the Kings have had on this team through the first two games is the power play going 0 for 5 thus
Yeah.
far
Versus 5 for 10.
versus 5
So
for
0% versus 50%.
10. That's an odd one. And I just,
You're talking about the Oilers power play particularly, right?
Yes,
That
the
there,
Oilers
okay,
power
yeah.
play. Like, I'm not saying
I
anything
don't think
else.
it's as odd.
That's a bit of an anomaly, which actually might say, okay, maybe they can snap out of that as well, and maybe they can get a couple power play goals. I just don't see how they can continue going 0 for.
I agree.
But that's a credit also to the LA Kings and their pursuit of the puck on the PK
I'd be
and
surprised
pressuring the
if
puck.
this goes between 4 and 7 games, wherever it goes. Well, it is going between 4 and 7. If the Oilers end at 0% on the power play, I'd be stunned by that.
Yes, that would be a statistical anomaly.
I'm not surprised they've had the struggles to start the series, though, because they haven't really played together on a unit in quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
We saw at the start of this season, they didn't get off playing well as a power play to, even though last few seasons they've been a historic power play. And then credit to the LA Kings in what they're doing with their PK. But that's the part to me is that they've, with the rest and the injuries and however the Oilers want to manage that and whether who's healthy and who's not, they didn't play together. And they're having to rebuild that chemistry and rebuild all of that yet again. I'm not surprised that they've had the early struggles.
Mhm.
Also, I'll question, this has been thrown out there from some other people. Does Leon look a little hurt still?
Mm.
Does he look healthy? Connor looks healthy. Is Leon at the right health?
Yeah, I guess, you won't know until it's far too late. But he certainly hasn't been driving the play as much as he had, say, when McDavid got suspended or when McDavid was injured and Leon took that role on and said, I'm going to carry this team on my back. That was a different Leon. So whether it's
But then he
reinserting-
got hurt.
I know, but
Right?
then maybe that goes back to your point of saying Connor and Leon have not played all that much going down the stretch. So maybe they're and look, both of them have been put in situations where they're trying to do more than they probably should. They're trying to carry this team collectively, and it's just putting them in bad situations. So that's where I get back to that point: is settle down, take a deep breath, do your job, and just simplify your game. And I think if they can do that, if they can actually do that, that will make a huge benefit for them. And I think they can turn this series around. If they don't, and they're playing LA's game, and they're allowing LA to dictate the game, I really don't see how this can turn around. So tonight's a huge game. I mean, that's obviously.
I think Game 4 is I think the Oilers are winning tonight. I don't think they're dropping 3 straight. I don't think they're blowing this Game 3 at home. I think 4 is the series. LA Kings are either going back home up 3-1 and it's over. Oilers are tying it at 2-2. They have all the momentum. They're feeling good and they're winning the series.
I don't know. This team, the last playoff series they played had a very similar thing happen.
The 3-0?
And they took it to Game 7.
Yeah, but they lost.
I understand that.
I will just throw it out there. They still lost.
Did they not learn from that? Right?
Yeah, it's.
But I don't care that you say they lost. Sure, they did. That's a fact. But you cannot say they did not gain or glean any experience from that.
But do you know what? We saw one of the reasons why they lost that. They put up all their energy in those 3 games prior to Game 7 to get it to Game 7. They had nothing left in Game 7.
Yeah.
That's the problem, and that's why the majority of teams that fall down 0-3 don't win it. We've seen it a few times. The Kings did it against the Sharks. Was it the Bruins over the Flyers? Or was it the Flyers over the Bruins? I think it was Bruins over the Flyers. We've seen it in recent years that way. I think those are only 2 in modern NHLers. I think we're going back further. Yeah, sure, the Oilers might come back, but
I'm just saying. I'm just
it's
trying.
Like saying a team from the West has done crossover. They've gone to East Final. It's an easier path, but they've never gone to the Grey Cup.
I'm just saying, if you want to find some positivity on a happy Friday here at Edmonton
If they
Sports
lose
Talk,
today,
I'm just saying, if there's a team that knows how to come back from being down in a series, it is this team.
You're right.
Right? They just did it last year, albeit with different players. I understand that.
That's another key part.
But the leadership core of this team is the same. It's in place. So just, Matt, like, quit trying to deny my search for positivity here. It's just, just leave me alone. Let me try and lay it out. Best friends fight. Trust me.
Best friends can have disagreements and debates. It's healthy debate. We'll hug it out after the show.
Yes.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not betting on the Oilers down this year, especially down 3-1. Like I was saying, again, I think they win tonight, but if they lose a Game 4, because also, like, this team is injured and they don't have Matthias Ekholm. Like, that's you are seeing once again why this team, Matthias Ekholm, was so important to them. As great as Connor and Leon are, like, Matthias Ekholm may be a bigger loss unless if you lose Connor and Leon, you're screwed. But this conversation was had a couple of weeks ago that what would you rather have? Lose one of Connor or Leon, not both, one or Matthias Ekholm? And it was, it's probably better to lose one of Connor or Leon because of what Matthias Ekholm does to that blue line. And that's what the Oilers are missing in this series. That we could point to Game 7, the Stanley Cup Final. They know how to get there, but this is a different team in many ways, including just injury. They are hurt. And that is what's hurting the Edmonton Oilers partly right now, no pun intended.
It's going to be wild today. It's funny. Like, I had so much confidence the last game. I was like, psh, win. Today I have the jitters. I'm not confident, but I definitely have butterflies, and I can't wait for tonight.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the Oilers were in a good spot. I had no problem with them starting on the road because I thought even if you go down 0-2, you haven't lost a series till they lose one at home or the series runs out. But the pressure does go on to you if you don't get a split when you're that road team. And the Oilers didn't get that split. So now the pressure's there tonight. You've got to go get this win, because if you don't, for the most part, it's kind of over.
Yeah, the series doesn't start until you're on home ice.
Till you lose on home ice.
Somebody loses on home ice.
Yeah. The Oilers are plus 375.
For what?
To win this series.
Makes sense. Looks like the LA Kings are a good hockey team. I don't know why so many people going into this series were so dismissive of the LA Kings. So, this team isn't anywhere good, that their regular season basically was a fluke, I feel like, in some people's eyes, that they're not that good of a hockey team. Look what the Oilers have done for them the last 3 years, but it's like, this is a good hockey team still. And I feel that they're actually healthy themselves this year, and they are playing good hockey. And we're seeing that. And in fact, we're actually not even seeing the good goaltending from them that they got part of this season. They are good. They know how to score some goals this year. And I think if there's one thing we've learned that they will have learned from themselves from game one to game, later on in the series, like they're not going to just sit back as they did in game one. Now they almost blew it in game two to a degree, but they didn't. They went the other way and they scored the goals.
You're right about the Kings. Like the Kings, like last year they played like trap hockey. Okay, you get the first goal, and then they just hang back and they just defend and they just counterattack. Right. So I think the Oilers can figure this out by now. This is their chance to do so today. Hence the first goal.
And I hope they do. I just don't know what kind of osmosis or system they're using to learn that or to get it into their heads, because they've gone from the game down there. They stayed the night. They flew home. They were with their family. This is the first time they're probably back together. And I don't know how it works, whether they have film sessions or on the plane or last night. I don't know. It's just,
I would assume there would have been some sort of team meeting yesterday.
There's a lot to try and break down and look at and right some wrongs before this game tonight. I'm just hoping that it's almost they've been playing so off and so bad and so unrecognizable that I hope they can just say, guys, what are we doing? Let's just go out and do what we can do. And because I really think the LA Kings punched them in the mouth.
Yeah. And
they didn't know what to do. And they started panicking and trying to play outside of themselves. That's what I mean. If they can just simplify that and bring it down. Simplify might be the word of the day today for Jay. I've been very, very redundant through the first two games of the Stanley Cup playoffs in terms of the Oilers. Simplify, Matt.
I'm also going to have to...
Or simplify.
Simplify?
Yeah. I think that's from a movie.
I think I'm going to have to disagree with you on one thing, though.
Go for it.
I do believe that the Oilers can win in Game 7, and if they beat the Kings, then I think that they can be lethal again.
If they get out of this series,
What do you mean they could win in Game 7?
I think the Oilers are going to take this series in 7.
Okay, I didn't say that they wouldn't.
You're saying that
I said if they fall down 3-0.
Okay, but you're saying if they don't win in the series, I'm sorry, if they win this series, you still don't think that there's a chance for them to excel.
Well, I never said that yet. I haven't gone. We haven't talked about the rest of the playoffs at all yet.
I'm sorry. I thought what you meant was that they're still going to struggle after the fact.
It's too bad Brendan's not here anymore. We could have rolled the tape back and.
I know. I missed.
I haven't gone to talk to it all yet about the like. There's no point in talking about a second, a third, or a Stanley Cup final until you get through the series and see what it's like.
Game 3 today.
I have zero interest talking about what an offseason would look like. Like if the Oilers lose,
there.
that discussion will happen when it happens.
Exactly, not going there at all.
It's on this series. I think if the Oilers fall down 3-1, it's over.
Okay.
That's what I like. That's why to me, Game 4 is so pivotal. I think the Oilers are winning tonight. I think they're coming out. I think the LA Kings are feeling. The LA Kings come to Edmonton in a very different position than they have over the last 3 years. They came, they're in the same position, but like they're 2-0, but they're coming to Edmonton needing just a split. They don't need to take both of these games. They're feeling very good about themselves. So today, I think they'll come in a little confident, maybe a little too confident. The Oilers will be the hungry team. This is a team that likes having their backs against the wall. Their backs will be against the wall. The Oilers are a bunch of cliches I'm just throwing out there right now.
Yes, go for it.
I'm stealing people's stuff. Now I'm going on cliches.
We're just going to throw this at the wall and see what sticks.
They'll do that with the PP and the PK, and they're going to give it a full 60.
Yeah.
But they're going to get the win. But then Game 4 is where I don't know how we'll go. But it's one, if the LA Kings know if they take it, I think they're feeling like 3-1. We get 2 home games. We just need to win one of those home games, and this is ours, and we're such a great home team. For the Oilers, if they do make it 2-2, I think all the momentum in the side, the LA Kings go, here we go again, and the Oilers roll the rest of the series.
Yeah.
That's why Game 4 to me is the series.
But yeah.
If this series is 2-1 going into that, which I believe it will be.
I just caution you from looking past what's right in front of, as far as the Oilers are concerned, is tonight. Leave no doubt. That's another pun, or like another movie clip. Leave no doubt. What's that from?
I'll look it up while
you. Titans. Yes, remember the Titans. That's what it's from. That's what it's from. The defensive coordinator saying, "Leave no doubt."
You would love the DC.
That's my favorite movie, probably a sports movie. Remember the Titans. Anyways, Get it done tonight, and then worry about the next game after that. Like, that's baby steps. That's simplifying.
Yeah,
It's just take everything out of the ether, put it into tonight's game.
But I'm
and
not in the locker.
Get past this.
I'm not the Oilers. I'm
Well,
not
I
the
know.
coaching side. And I think that they're going to win tonight. I'm just saying, like I said this yesterday. I'm circling Game 4 as the series.
It's funny that, and I understand that. It's funny. Yeah, okay. I think they're going to win tonight. I think they're going to win tonight. The Oilers are going to crush them tonight. Okay. Yes, that could be very true, but then that's a different Oilers team that's got to show up. It cannot be the same team from game 1 and 2. That team will come in here and get paraded out of Rogers Place by the middle of the second period.
Absolutely.
It's a team that gets a couple of extra, 2-3 extra key saves. It's a team that has a PK that's closer to 75% than 50%, and has a power play that's closer to 15% than 0%.
There.
Are those unrealistic? Because I don't think that. Like, I think Calvin Pickard, like, it's going to be. He just needs to make a couple early saves in that first period, which Stu Skinner didn't do in the first 2 games. And yeah, some of those he didn't have a chance. But sometimes your goalie just needs to stand on his head and steal
Yeah.
and make a save that we go, how did he make that save?
How did that happen?
What
Yeah.
an amazing save. We didn't have those moments just as there was. I feel like it gives the confidence a little bit to the team in front. I don't think it's unfair to think that the power play can go 1 for 4. So that's closer to 25% than 15%, but still 1 for 4. And I don't think it's crazy that the PK instead goes 1 for 4 the other way.
Yeah. Well, a lot of things should.
Right. And what's that balance? What does that equal out to then in terms of the scoreboard? And I think it's closer to. I'm thinking political stuff here, where the odds and like the polls and if the percent of vote.
Don't believe the polls. Maddie.
No, but it's the simulations.
You should have learned that from the U.S. presidential race. Yeah,
no, it's not that.
Don't trust the polls.
It's not that,
Yeah,
but it's like the discussion of, well, if this drops here, it brings the conservatives into minority territory, or these poll numbers,
Those polls
and it goes
are
into
so
a majority territory.
rubbish.
But that's like, so what is this? What if you drop here and you add here and you drop here? What does it equal to? To me, that equals an Oilers victory.
Okay, I like it.
1 for 4 on the power play, 3 for 4 on the PK, a couple of early saves from Calvin Pickard.
I think those are rookie numbers. I think we need to bump that up to 2 for 4 on the PP.
If
Let's
they
go
get 1,
50%.
they're scoring 2. But I think even if you just score 1, like, let's go to last game. Before, it was a 1-goal game. Had the Oilers had scored a power play goal earlier, like, I know butterfly effect, everything would have been different, but it's instead of a tie game before the LA Kings go and quickly take advantage of one mistake and then the floodgates open. You just really need to limit the power play by 50% and to take them down from 50 to 25 and score a power play goal. And I think you've leveled things off quite nicely in this series.
You mentioned, the Oilers to get 1 or 2 saves. The big, whoa, oh my gosh, save. How did he do that? And I think you're...
Not necessarily. I
agree.
Big save. I don't think it has to be that level.
No,
I'm just saying, like, Skinner.
A big save.
Yes.
Make a big save on what should have been an expected goal. Okay. Here's the other flip side of that. And I know it's out of, Oilers fans' control, certainly in our control, but has Darcy Kemper even been tested?
No.
Like, has Darcy Kemper, the times he hasn't looked that good. You look at that Victor Arvidsson goal, right? To make it 3-2 at the start, 60 minutes left in the third. Hey, that's, wow. They figured it out. The Oilers are net front presence, pucks on net.
Exactly.
Let's go.
That's right.
That's a goal. That's simplifying the game.
True. The offense.
And then it was never seen again. I mean, Arvidsson made a fantastic play and got the heck beat out of him in front of the net. But he was there, and Kemper looks okay. The Oilers have not tested him enough.
The flip side, though, is early in the games, the 2 games, he's made saves. Like the 2 days ago, there was the power play for the Oilers. He made a big save.
On what? On Leon's one-timer?
Was it a Hyman in front?
Well, no, the Hyman play last game wasn't made by him. It was made by Gabrikov.
No, but there was like he made. I just recall, and I'd have to go back. He made.
Well, he did make the save on Hyman's deflection, sure,
but a decent save, like to start, and that's all I'm saying the Oilers need.
Yep.
Because I remember having this conversation with interns for years, like when they would do things, and I'd be like, you have to let. And now look, small thing compared to NHL goalie, but I get it. The point I think still stands here. When you fester and you focus on your one mistake, more mistakes will happen. You have to let it go. You have to throw it out of your mind. And I wonder if Stu Skinner just too much. Okay, one go out in it. He was then thinking too much, and then you then can't recover from that because then another mistake happens and another and another. Whereas if you get that first save early, it just I think calms you down, settles you in.
Totally.
And Kemper did it for the LA Kings in game one. He may have let in the goals later, but he gave that first save when early when they needed it. Stu Skinner has not. And that's what I think Calvin Pickard, just in that first period, there's a shot in the slot or something. Make the save. And I think the whole team gets a little extra confidence. Didn't
You
get
okay?
the puck
Yeah,
up.
I know. I'm just,
You Serenity now?
yeah.
Gus, 93 and 18 need to show up. Have not noticed either of them yet.
Great point.
Stowe special teams needs to show up, and they have to stop giving the puck away to gift the Kings goals.
Great point.
That's just
Yeah,
something they
Penner's
keep doing
Pancakes.
all regular season.
It was
the playoffs.
Hyman. He stopped Hyman with the pad. And it's just, it's a save. It's a small thing.
Yeah, but he should have. Hyman was going to score on the rebound,
And then that's
and
Gavrikov.
saved the day.
Fair. But the first save happens. And with the Oilers, that hasn't been the case. It's been back of the net.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's where it's just, I don't think you have to make all of them. Make one or two.
Sure.
Or make one. Just one. And I think it changes a lot. Just because I think even a confidence-wise, the whole team, everyone. It's like, to me, even in football, why a kicker is so important. You're an offense that drives the field and settles for a field goal. Let's say a 38-yarder, and your kicker misses it. Your offense is going to feel deflated. Like, we drove down the field, we put him, and we get 0 points, or potentially 1, depending on where the kick goes.
Don't do it.
Whereas if you're getting those 3 points, everyone's just always feeling good. You're always feeling good. Hey, we got some points. We're on the board. I think that comes from goalies. Sometimes you just need to make a couple of those saves just for everyone to feel like, yeah, good. We're doing good. We're feeling good.
Are either of you two going to be making your way? I mean, I know you live in Ice District essentially, but are you going to be making your way down there to the Moss Pit or the Canadian Ice House to go visit Tommy?
I'm going upstairs to the press box.
You're going to the game, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Reed is too, but he's
I
also
sit
going
next to Reed.
He's going to Canadian
For the
Ice House
post-game
prior. No, he's going prior. Why don't you be a team player
I
and
didn't
go
think he
with
was
him?
going prior.
Yeah.
He didn't say that.
Are you going to Ice House?
No.
Why not?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, right
a
after
team
the
player.
extended show, which, by the way, extended NHL Oilers coverage, playoff coverage,
14 straight hours here.
14 straight hours.
Wow.
The Reed Wilkins show will go until 6:30.
Haven't had that since 1260 days.
And then Tommy and Hernan are going to take over for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. So we got you covered right up to. Right after the Reed Wilkins show, I've got to go. My daughter has a basketball practice, so my wife, who's an assistant coach on the team, will have to take her. So I will be at home with the other two Rugrats. Although I'm sure they're probably going to want to go, but with Mom, and then I'm going to feel bad because I have to stay home and watch the hockey game. I'll tell you, these playoffs, first time going through the playoffs as a member of a sports media establishment, and it's tiring. Like, my wife went to bed last night at like 9:45, and I was just like, God, I would, but I was switching between the NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and I find myself like I was tired yesterday. What are you laughing at?
Well, there's still, I feel like this is like, you're still such a rook in that.
Oh, I am.
It's an Oiler game day. Today's mostly about the Oilers. You should have went to bed.
Well, okay. Thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, but
I'm
there's
just
so many-
like, I don't think you and Reed are going to be talking NBA today, so you didn't need to watch the NBA.
Reed, I don't even think he knows what a basketball is. Actually, I do. He thinks it's all miniature basketball.
And when it comes to hockey, sure, I get that one, but the Oilers are going to dominate the discussion. So the game was yesterday,
That is so
or the game was
cute.
2 days ago.
She looks great in that.
Yeah, that's my daughter and I wore our matching
Glue
Crew hoodies. Oh, yeah, I'll show you here.
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah, that
Man,
part.
you gotta give like Jay a break. There's, NBA, there's the NFL draft, which we're gonna quickly get into as well.
What I'm just telling him, like, he could have, like, because I feel like he felt like he had to.
I do.
His wife went to bed. He wanted to go to bed because he's tired, and he felt like he had to. And the vet play there is, just go to bed, dude.
Okay.
It's Oiler game day today.
Yeah.
This is going to dominate the discussion. Once the Oilers are out, then it's a little more paying attention to other things. I think on that one, you could have got away with, bedtime. Catch up on the highlights today.
We're trying to send the glue crew out to the world to embrace positivity today. Mm-hmm. So my daughter decided to wear hers as well. Actually, she put hers on first, to which I said, hey, I was going to wear that today because, YouTube Trev.
I forgot.
Where are you on that?
You want to know? So
hang on. Let me set this up. YouTube Trev sends us a text last night on the group chat saying, hey guys, I'm bringing my fancy camera in tomorrow. Probably going to take some shots, some photos that we can use on our socials or wherever. And please wear something EST. And okay, got it. Everybody gets it. I think as far as I saw, everybody here so far, yes, is wearing EST stuff.
100%.
And I look at you as soon as I come in and you're wearing an who? Ajax, Amsterdam, soccer kit. Yeah. And I'm just... So I'm befuddled.
Because I have a very short-term memory loss, I think, or something. Some things like that I'll forget. I needed to do something for Jeff Kershell. I forgot to do it yesterday, so I had to write myself a note this morning. And when I woke up, I looked at the note. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to do that. Like completely forgot when I woke up today to go do that. I got here. I was needing to grab some stuff for Collingwood Rob, put some stuff out because he bought some merch. With that, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. It is the High Product Marketing portions of this hour brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of EST. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, highproductmarketing.com.
Bronco Nick is waiting for his Glue Crew hoodie, and we can't do it until we get the next order comes
because of the size.
Because we made a trade. So I'm giving him one, but we don't have the size.
Okay.
So don't worry, Bronco Nick. I haven't forgot. And thanks for the limericks.
But so I went to go get the merch for Collingwood Rob, and then I was like, crap, Trev told us to wear EST merch. And
you can grab something.
I'll do it. Like, it's not necessary all today, so I can do it on Monday or something. Like a thing to do something that apparently some people might want to try, so I got to work into that. But yeah, I screwed that one up. I dropped the ball. And I as soon as crap, I should just leave an EST thing here for me at all times.
Why don't you? You have a coat rack in your office.
It's a good idea.
It is. And there's a coat rack right there.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to forget to always bring it in.
I think Dustin has a hoodie here at all times, actually, because there's a massive hoodie on the thing that could only fit him.
I have a hoodie, but it's not EST in my office.
So why did you even say that?
I have an Elks alumni one.
Yes, that's right. Of which you are not.
Dave Jameson gave me that.
Of which he is.
Dave gave me a few Elks gear, actually. I got to start wearing that.
You could call yourself a Golden Bears alumni.
I should bring that. Well, that's I don't need that jacket. I don't need that jacket here. Very nice, like rain jacket type thing. Would work in the office for this setting.
The one I gave you?
Yeah.
It's
not.
Nice.
And then I also have a world curling jacket because sometimes I get cold in my office, and it's a nice little warm one. Yeah, I screwed up. I'm aware. YTT, appreciate you for listening, Glue Guy. I apologize to you, Trev. I sincerely apologize.
I'm like one of the best at listening in this office, I think. You sent that email out about the potential for a thingy that you can draw on the thingy, and I think it would be great for one show here. And I think you know which show. I did. You said if it's not, then don't. No. But I think EST Afternoon should take that.
Hernan did say, and so did Tommy say he might think so.
Yeah.
No, I'm just trying to put it. You're just ahead of Zach in my eyes.
Wow, that says a lot.
I think you're number one.
Zach's a hardo.
Zach can forget some small things. That's why I put you ahead of him.
Thank you.
You are.
I'm on it.
Have you ever, when was the last time you were an employee of someone?
When I bartended. Back when I was 20, 21.
Did you ever work for your parents?
I did.
So then too?
Yeah, but I had ownership stake.
Oh, did you at the time too?
Yeah.
Okay, so
But I guess, my dad was my boss.
You're like an
That's
ideal...
That's why he's rich.
You're like...
Going back, stem from there.
Hashtag rich.
Yeah.
You're like an ideal employee.
Thank you. Wow.
I will say that straight up.
Wow.
You respond to emails. You remember things. You're a go-getter. In so many ways. If I could do a performance review of things, I'd be like,
really?
Jay, check. Wow. Everyone else would be be more like Jay.
Wow. Well, it is coming up. September will be my 1-year anniversary. I'm assuming there's some sort of a meeting that would happen where it's like, hey, here's what you can do better. Here's what you need to work on.
I don't know if we want to do that. I always hated doing that.
Performance reviews?
I hated performance.
Well, you're never going to get better if you don't have
because
performance
but
reviews.
like the ones we used to do at the other place were just like go through the motions, and no one like even from the other side, it wasn't like let's care about this. So
I think we should live stream our performance reviews.
and Dusty's doing them.
Think of the views. That'd be great.
I don't even know where we got into that.
We're at Jasmine's list. This thing is,
Oh.
look at this thing.
No, don't even.
Is that all for today?
Oh, by the way,
No. Yes, but I mean,
Good.
the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. Canadian storage provider. Be sure to buy Canadian until April 30th, which is early next week. Pick your deal. Limited units, which includes 50% off 12 weeks, 75% off 8 weeks, 100% off 4 weeks on select units. Sentinel.ca for more information and to find convenient locations nearest you. With all our merch from the Hive, I think I need a storage unit because I can't find any.
okay. So, a couple things. I don't really care about this series, and it's the Toronto-Ottawa series. Are you guys are you watching it? I have it on, and I just don't care. I'm trying to engage in it. What do you think? Even if you go to
I was
overtime
hoping a
and
little
stuff-
bit closer. I was hoping the Sens could grab a win or something. But I'm also wondering, are the Leafs kind of for real?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are for real, or you're wondering it?
No, I believe they are.
I've been wondering this all year. I remember early in the year, I think I went on Lock Shop once with Jake. I'm like, I looked at the standings and Leafs were like top 4 in the NHL or something. I'm like, why is no one I feel like they're quiet this year, the noise around them.
Yeah.
From TSN, from Sportsnet, it's very quiet. I'm like, why are we not hearing anything? And then as the season has progressed, and they like, and I wanted them to win the Atlantic Division because I wanted them to play the Sens because I would have loved the idea of them losing to the Sens. It didn't happen. They're now, it looks like, probably going to take on the Panthers.
Well, that's what I was
That'll be
going to say.
interesting.
If they can get to the Eastern Conference Final, I think they can win the Cup.
But it's
Wild.
what,
No,
like,
the Maple Leafs. not
are
the
they
Wild.
legit?
I know.
Are they legit good, actually?
Well, they're
And
they're playing good.
But the flip side is Sens have like 0 playoff experience.
Yep.
And
Young team.
Is that so? I'm fascinated by the Leafs.
Haven't made the playoffs in 8 years.
If they win the cup, I'm taking the sabbatical from ESG for a year.
Is that like actual? You can't.
Why not?
We need you here.
I don't want to live in Canada with TSN and Sportsnet shoving down my throat the Toronto Maple Leafs winning the Stanley Cup.
Ew.
Can I have your office?
Because sure,
Okay.
because
okay.
it's one of those things where all summer it's going to be annoying as
Oh
hell.
my God.
And then next year, it's all going to be about the repeats. Can the Leafs repeat?
Ew.
Oh, they're in, no, I don't want to live in that. I am going to move to some remote island somewhere
That just gave me
has
the
no
ick.
internet, that has no phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Peterman from the
Don't be so
Seinfeld, wherever he
sensitive.
goes.
I mean,
Leafs are winning.
Look. I am not here to say, go Leafs, go. But let's look. If the Leafs were to, let's just say they won the Stanley Cup, okay? Hypothetical number 500 on this show today. It would be back in Canada.
Don't
okay?
care.
But
I hate that argument.
how can you be so? You're just afraid of the backlash.
I'm
that you're
afraid
gonna
of the
have.
media that's going to be shoved down my throats by watching
Well, then
sports
get
channels.
better here. Then Oilers, be better, get
I know,
better.
sure.
That should drive you. That should make you hungry to say, "Shut the you know what
and,
up."
and I don't care about the Leafs fan part of that. You celebrate, do whatever.
I don't care. I don't really
It's,
like. If they,
I just know
whatever.
that Sportsnet and TSN will have live coverage every single day through the summer of the Leaf with the Cup, whether they're doing. There's Jeff O'Neill in his Leafs jersey sitting in some town in Manitoba because player X is bringing the cup that day, and then the next day it's going to be Frank Carrot, all those guys just sitting in another, and it's just going to be everyday live coverage of the Stanley Cup, and then next year it's all just going to be about
change
their
the channel, bro.
No,
I want to watch I'm trying to watch the CFL. I'm trying to watch the
trying to catch some
CFL.
highlights. Yeah,
And I'm trying to listen to Dusty call
Yeah.
Elks Riders or something, and they're breaking in because they're going, don't forget, we have more coverage on Marner
Exactly.
coming up at Sports Center. Don't care.
Wow,
Back to
you're
the
really
Leafs after
sensitive to
commercial
this.
break. Screw that.
There was one team I did not want to win the Connor McDavid draft lottery. I didn't care who won him, except for one team, and that was the Toronto Maple Leafs, because we would have hated Connor.
Yeah,
We would have been, there would have been a great career. He would have been doing amazing things out there, but we would have grown to hate him because of how much it would have been like, Connor woke up today. Here's a story from Darren Dreger. Like, everything he did would have been shoved down our throats.
Man.
And that's where no.
Okay, okay.
I want a year away.
Okay.
I want a year away.
Here's what
win
happens.
the cup.
Here's what happens.
They won't.
The Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup.
You're
This
tripping.
year, they win it in the third week of June. It happens fast.
Why are you doing this?
The Toronto Maple Leafs are the Stanley Cup champions. Matty has to take a 1-year sabbatical. I want to hear from the Nasties what hobbies Matt's going to take on his 1-year sabbatical away from EST.
Remote island.
You don't get to make this up. This is for the Nasties. This is a test for the Nasties.
Actually,
where is Matt going to go? What's he going to do?
You got to pick somewhere in Italy. I have a passport in Italy. I'm an Italian citizen. I'm going to Italy.
Okay, but even in Italy,
You could
let's
pick
say,
where in Italy.
Okay, let's say Maddie's on his Leafs win the cup. Maddie's sabbatical. Maddie's Italy. But what hobby that you wouldn't think that he would pick up is Maddie just going to take a deep love for and probably never come back from Italy?
Or what do I look like? Like what is it that I come
concentrate on
back?
soccer. That's all he'll do there.
What if you became like a 4th tier like manager of a soccer
how great
team,
would that be?
right? And
It's that or-
you don't speak Italian, you just mumble like
Like a Gene was doing this morning. Yeah.
Just learn a couple of quick words.
Just
and
a couple things.
Yeah, I could say like Italian sports talk in Italy, where I'm talking about Italian soccer. No, I couldn't. I don't want to be on the internet. Like I'd be cut off the internet. I'm not going on the internet because somehow I'll see Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm off the internet.
Okay, I didn't mean to
I'd be reading books.
open
hopefully.
this Leafs talk, but I just can't believe everything I just heard right now.
Do you know what that story would be though? Some Canadian has ruined some historic Italian club.
Yes.
You know, right? Like,
No, I would.
and you guys would see the story about me having
You'd be in
destroyed-
handcuffs.
Matteo
led away
Iwanyk is
from-
coming.
Matteo.
Embezzled money
Yeah.
from this historic club that has been around for 150 years.
Here, this one comes in from Big Uke. This is good. He's going to Italy, works at a vineyard. It's all corks for wine bottles. That was one of the greatest SNL skits of all time.
Yeah, I'll just be the guy where it's my whole job will be to put the corks in the wine bottles. And I will take a deep passion to corks. The right corks for wine. Like this cork is way better than this other cork. But people are agreeing with stand with you, Matty. Great speech, Matt. Like don't want the Leafs to win.
I'm just saying, can we not just look at this from a, and everybody
here's the
could
other
probably
Canadian
use a
part of
breath
this.
of fresh air and just picture Matty being led from the head office of Inter Milan CBT in handcuffs and everybody throwing tomatoes at him and just, swearing at you. I think it'd be great. Either that or, I could see you like just really getting into like top level pizza dough and like becoming pizza dough obsessed. Like, no. You don't dare use that water. No. Like really over the top. Like, no, you have to like get out of the way. This is how you do it.
I'm going to overrun, take over like the...
Because you're going to have to come back. It's only a 1-year sabbatical.
Yeah, no. And then
I think the dough thing you can bring
EST
back.
is going to launch...
Their own pizza line.
With Italian Center, we'll launch our own pizza line. Like
There,
a pizza
see, look,
restaurant.
boom. You're welcome, Dusty.
Yeah, something like
Boom.
that.
And it'll just be called bada boom, bada bing.
Probably already is one.
Yeah, no. I tell the other point. I don't. If you're a fan of an NHL team in Canada, you should not cheer for another Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup. You want your team to break the streak.
Yeah, of course.
Of course you should.
Absolutely.
Where did that ever enter into the conversation?
You said you should want Toronto to win because then the cup comes back to Canada.
I'm saying if they win,
Yeah,
that's a silver lining you can take from it
It's not.
Absolutely
as a
not.
casual sports fan.
Jay, stop it. I'm
What?
getting annoyed.
You like the Canucks.
No, I do not like the Canucks.
I'm impartial,
Why are
so
you
what does it
talking
matter?
about-
Corey B. Maddie's a cork soaker.
Soaker, yeah.
One of the
You
best
soak
cork
in the
soakers
corks.
in all the land from Big Uke.
Oh my gosh. If you haven't watched the Cork Soaker skit on SNL, Google it, YouTube
I'm going to have
it.
to look that one up after.
New
Oh, my
SNL lines
word.
are released too.
You what?
The next 3 weeks. Is the
Yeah, nothing stood out to me.
Is that show
personally.
on still?
Yes, it is.
It's hit and miss. I get into things.
I don't watch any of it. It turned me off. I don't know when it was. It was an election cycle, and it was just, what are we doing here?
They always do in election stuff.
Yeah.
That's always their big thing. The U.S. is in elections every 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing I am very thankful of our system. An election is, what was it? Ours is going to be 38 days.
Well, it's not normal. Normal circumstances for having an election only run that long, a campaign.
But like to be in an official campaign, it's only like, I think the longest one we had was it 2015? We went for 6 weeks. Like it's not the presidential campaign.
Yeah. Get it over with.
It somewhat officially begins. Like I know there's the unofficial stuff, but like on the primaries, which starts in like January and then it runs till November.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is the calendar year. Like the fact that we only have to do 30 some days.
And what's it called? The Ohio or the...
It starts in Iowa.
the
Iowa caucus.
Caucus, yes.
They caucus.
I love watching a good caucus.
Oh, there was this one night years ago where they were trying to wait for results from some Iowa caucus in some small town in Iowa. And CNN had these two old ladies call in and they explained like who won it. It was like Betsy or something. And she's like pulling up her notepad and she's reading these results on the air. It was just the dumbest thing, but it fascinated me. So I now just want to go move to Italy for a year.
Walton Goggins is going to be on SNL.
Who?
He's from White Lotus.
He's done a few other things.
Oh, yeah, a lot of.
Is that Uncle Rico?
No,
No.
that's John Grease.
Scarlett Johansson as well. She'll be on it.
Walton
And Bad
Goggins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's
I
great.
think I saw him in the
Great fashion.
commercials.
If you follow him on Instagram, absolutely great fashion. This guy, I think, gets paid by Louis Vuitton.
Well, he's a movie star. He can probably afford it.
I'm just saying, sometimes, you
If
notice
I had
these
millions
things.
of dollars, I'd dress probably the same.
Yeah, I was going to say, but some people don't and really milk it.
Who?
It's
Why are you
nice.
pointing at him?
Well, not him.
You're saying he's a bad dresser?
No.
If I had a lot of money, I wouldn't be living in Edmonton as much, possibly.
Duh.
Why?
Like full time. I can't. I would leave in the winters
Yeah, I can see
without a question.
that. I don't know. I like winters.
I would always be in shorts, and I'd always want to be in.
You know what
shorts
they
and
say.
flip-flops
I
and
enjoy
t-shirts.
every season, Matt. I love that Edmonton has 4 seasons.
Well, we got 5.
If
What's
you're rich,
that?
you just get a PJ.
Construction.
That's it.
Yeah.
You saw what I did there.
Yeah.
You saw what I did there.
I do.
No, it's. I would always want to be in shorts, t-shirts, and flip flops
Flip flops. Thongs.
if I had the money.
Thong.
100%. I've just bought a new pair.
Did you?
Every 2 years, I buy a pair.
What color thong did you get?
It's a brownish type. It's one that I've had.
Odd choice.
I had it years ago. I bought it again another time. And then I thought I'm going to mix it up for the last few years. And I haven't found a good one that I like. And then I had to go back to this one, but it's almost done. It was on clearance. I had to get it at a Sport Check. There's like one Sport Check that had it and I got it and I was very thankful. Like I haven't worn them yet. It's actually today should have been flip-flop day. What are we looking at for temps next week?
Okay.
Yeah, flip-flop weather next week. I'll throw that out there. Shoes are coming off. You guys have to get used to seeing my feet. I keep them clean and trimmed. Don't worry.
I love a good pedicure.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
do
healthy.
What? You've never had a pedicure?
I had it once.
And you
then
don't like it?
I enjoyed it. I have apparently very soft feet, but then I felt like after a
They're
little,
just looking for a tip when they say that.
no, I was at the thing where she's like, I don't know what to do. Like my mom was there; she could vouch, like straight up. Like
sure,
it was,
sure,
but it was
sure.
one where I felt like it was getting drier after I had the pedicure.
Yeah,
So I
well,
don't-
they take off some skin. So if you have a good,
Oh, but I
know,
felt like for a lot
shell.
longer, it was like I feel like the conspiracy theory I have with chips, like chapstick, is that it also dries you out, so you have to keep using it, so you get
100%.
addicted to it. I feel like is that the same thing that's gonna happen with a pedicure? So I don't want to. I enjoyed it, but I'm worried about having them, and then I'm gonna lose my soft feet.
Calvin C. Matt J. What was the timeline for the decision on Elk's future with Commonwealth Stadium to renovate or build new stadium?
There wasn't one.
I don't think there was. I think it was just a discussion. I think the first thing they would do is if they were to do something, it would be to kick the can around renovating that space and making it more, streamlining it a bit, I would say,
I
for
remember.
Elks games, but at the same time having Metallica there. You have to be able to do both.
Well, when Larry Thompson and Deb took over this team, they did say they already had discussions with the city. I've heard, I'm trying to remember where. there are going to be a little bit of improvements to the like, not like renovations or anything like that, but just if you go to an Elks games this year, it's going to look nicer or something. I've heard that they've put a little bit into that already. But there is no timeline necessarily. I would guess, if I had to, Larry and his group, they're going to first focus on getting the Elks to do two things. Winning, kind of important.
Kind of.
And making money again. And until they do those two things, I don't think they're going to focus on the big deal when it comes to the stadium. If they're not making money 4 or 5 years into Larry's time here, I don't know what the future of the Elks looks like. To do that, they need to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you're focused on building a new stadium or renovating if you're not making money 4 or 5 years from now. So I think we're still years away from any sort of decision when it comes to the future of the home of the Edmonton Elks.
Jasmine, what are your thoughts on renovation at Commonwealth Stadium?
Obviously, got to do renovations to make it beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you need a little background for pictures, experience. You know how I roll. Get some
Maybe-
bottle service in there. It's all good.
Maybe they should have you on the the planning committee.
Oh, it would be so beautiful if I was on it.
Yeah, what would you change first?
I would make the bathrooms a little nicer, although I do appreciate the size of them.
You do
I think they
appreciate
renovated
a good,
that last year. They renovated.
Do they still have the
bathrooms last
circle sinks?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
They
With the
do.
foot
Did you go
pedal?
did you like?
Those are
did they not
awesome.
renovate inside everything,
No, it's
or is it certain bathrooms or something?
probably certain ones. I still saw the concrete and all that, but yeah, I mean, I would make the
They're supposed to be
concessions
somewhere.
much nicer.
Yeah, they
Line up-
are pretty.
and they're messy.
Yeah,
Like
they're very old.
the old, yeah.
The Pizza Boy update for those wondering: Cypress Hill has been moved to May 4th. They were
Okay.
supposed to be here on Tuesday.
Insane in the membrane.
What would you change?
What
Because
would
I know
I
what I
change?
would change at Commonwealth.
What I would change? Well, Larry Thompson.
Let's say realistically, because I would
Okay,
love
this
a
is
retractable
realistic.
roof.
Larry Thompson comes from a construction background. Thompson Construction, I believe. Thompson Brothers Construction. What I would do is I would find about 20 excavators. I would roll them in to Commonwealth down on the field. And I would dig, and lower the field by about 15 to 20 feet.
Build seats.
And build
towards them.
seats right down to the sidelines.
Question: what do you do with the upper deck?
Who cares?
You've now added a lot more seats.
Don't matter.
Okay.
Keep it for Metallica.
I love that upper deck.
Keep it for AC/DC. I don't care. I was those are my seats. Keep in mind, those are where I would
Yeah,
sit.
you were against that.
When I would go to an Elks game, I would sit up top.
Yeah.
I loved it. You could see the whole game, but it's just not what's happening right now. The lower bowl feels so detached from the field of play. I would try to see if they can bring, and this has been a topic for a long time since Ed Hervey was here previously.
Yeah, there were some drawings done up to bring the field down and build it out. I know Ed, apparently he had the idea of also just sliding the field to the west side so that the people sitting on the west side are closer, and now the east side would be further.
But you don't even need to dig it that deep.
but-
You could have the seating come down here and then really level out towards the field.
Well, or you could do like what you see in like.
You could almost do that right now, Matt.
Well, I was gonna say,
almost
or you could do what you do almost in Dallas and Atlanta. You see it
like temporary.
suites.
Sure. Yeah, you could. Those are so
Move the
useless.
suites down
though.
there. Move the
Those are
suites
so
down
useless.
there.
You need to have the biggest,
But
a TV board in the
That's
United
fair.
States
No, I
to
agree.
make that
the same, like
plausible.
I don't know why you would sit behind a bench. In a
They're
hockey game.
terrible seats.
For me, I would change the gating system.
You've talked about
I would
this.
put the gates much further outside of Commonwealth. And they did it for, I think it was the Grey Cup or was it the Heritage Classic. You had to show your ticket well before getting into the stadium to get into the stadium, like for the first security gate. I would then open up all the gates so you could roam freely around. And if you were on the west side of Commonwealth Stadium, you could actually just walk out of one of the Commonwealth gates, if you will, but you're still within the perimeter of the new Commonwealth Stadium, and you could walk around the stadium to the
Yes.
other side, which I think then would alleviate
It
some
would
of the
spread things out.
congestion. It
Yeah.
would spread things out, and if they, the concourse is busy, well, where's that gate? I'll just walk around.
Yeah.
And that would be the one thing I would switch to with them. Just It's not an issue for the Elks, but it's an issue when you get to the Metallicas. It's an issue when you get to the ACDCs, and hopefully one day it's an issue again when they get to the Elks, when there's a Labor Day Classic rematch and there's 45,000 people wanting to get into Commonwealth Stadium.
Yep.
I can't wait for football season.
Me neither.
Speaking of football, let's talk about the draft just a little bit.
Sure.
I still stand by that Cam Ward isn't going to be a
I still don't. I don't get that.
You don't think he is?
I watched Cam Ward play at Washington State. He was a Coug. I loved Cam Ward. He was great there. He then went to my Miami Hurricanes. So he played for both my teams. I've watched a lot of Cam Ward in my life. I feel like more than a lot of people in the city of Edmonton.
Legit,
I have watched Cam Ward. He's a good quarterback. He's got legs. I don't think he has the intelligence to do it in the NFL. I have seen him make the ill-timed interception where the Hurricanes are down 7, they're in the red zone, and he makes a poor decision and it's intercepted. And you're like, damn. Like in the game against Syracuse where they needed to win to keep their playoff hopes alive, he just couldn't get it done. And if you can't get it done like that because of decision-making, you're not going to develop that as you go to the NFL. The IQ's there or it isn't. And I don't think it's there to lead an NFL team to a Super Bowl. Maybe he'll be an average quarterback. Maybe he'll be 500 in the NFL. I don't see a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Cam Ward. And I love Cam Ward. I loved him at Washington State. I loved him in Miami in the end. He's someone I've been following for years, and he was electric. I just don't see him as I would use a first overall pick on him if I was a franchise. I'd take him in the second round. I'd take him in the third round as a flyer type thing. I'm not touching him in the first round.
I just think the NFL game is going to come at him quite fast. And I don't think he has, like you said, the acumen, the IQ to develop, and here's the problem with Tennessee is they don't have, they have Will Levis. So they can't afford to sit there and just put him on the bench and park him on the bench. People often forget this about Patrick Mahomes, is that he sat behind Alex Smith for a year and a half before he got his crack to take over the team. And you see what he is. It's very hard to do what Jaden Daniels did last year for my Commanders. Which I'm wearing my good luck Commanders shoes today. Positivity, positive Friday. Let's go Oilers. Hashtag Glue Crew. Hashtag
He's
Let's
a
go
Caps
Oilers.
fan. Yeah.
Dig deep. Pucks deep.
Pucks deep. Pucks on net. But that's hard to do. But Jaden Daniels was put into a system that'll work for him because he, like you say, Cam Ward has legs. Jaden Daniels has legs. Jaden Daniels has an arm. His arm was impressive in the college ranks. Cam Ward does not. But I'll dovetail into the second pick in
Travis Hunter.
Jacksonville, trading up with the Cleveland Browns to take Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is a game changer.
Yeah, he's playing both sides.
Yeah, he is.
Well, he's going to focus on wide receiver. Yeah. But can you imagine as a coach to being able to say, okay, you know what, we're going to put him in our nickel package or a dime package, or hey, Travis Hunter, go return punts.
Yeah,
like he is that dynamic.
Well, imagine being the GM where you trade up, but you got 2 players in a sense for 1.
Yeah,
right. That's the way you could look at that.
That's a great point.
Or like a player and a half for 1.
Yeah.
Like Cleveland once again, just like I know you loaded up on picks, but you always do this.
Yeah.
I think they traded down from Julio Jones. They've traded down, and it's just like no, like Cleveland for once, like take the guy.
Well, it's amazing when you look back on these drafts and look at how many like future Pro Bowlers come out of these first rounds. Like these are players. This is not the CFL draft where
no, but Grey Cups are 1 in the CFL draft.
Ask me the last 4 first round picks in the CFL draft. Nobody will know that.
But no, it's not, and it's not sexy. But you need good Canadians.
You need
and
depth.
It comes through the draft where they come. Like that's where it is important. It's not a sexy importance.
I guess what I'm saying is they don't fit in right away.
No, they don't. Like the Ravens
like
had secondary.
DeBlanco may not even play as a linebacker this year for the Elks. He was their first round pick last year.
The Ravens had secondary issues this year. So what do? They draft a guy in the secondary and he was going to play thing. Like it's an immediate help you can get.
Speaking of which, you should reach out to the Elks because I bet you there's a lot of guys in town that have like an Elks roundtable in here prior to. His spring camp's what?
May 10th, I believe.
Is happening.
Training camp. Rookie camp is May 5th or something like that.
Yeah, let's get some Elks in here.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out. Actually, the one thing I do want to do is at some point in the summer try to get. Is it Stevenson? What's his first name? Head coach of the Bears.
Oh, Bone.
Bone. Thank you. I'd like to try to get him in.
We should get Bone Stevenson, Kevin Witherich, and the coach of the Huskies. I don't know his name.
Is that the Wildcats coach?
Yeah, Kevin Witherich is my guy. Wildcats head coach.
Husky Nation, baby.
Screw you.
Oh no, Wildcats Nation. Sorry, I got that one wrong.
Hashtag. Rawr.
No, sorry, I meant to go Wildcats. I was actually trying to defend you on that one.
Hashtag.
Wildcats Nation.
Yeah, we hiss it. That would be a good round table, though. It really would. But anyways,
Jaden Daniels also has a crazy mother, just so you know.
she's awesome.
She's crazy.
What do you mean she's crazy?
Did you not see her just like last month? He was at a wedding and she was not letting like any woman come near him. He took her as his date.
Good.
Good. Stay focused on football,
Exactly.
bro.
Next thing you know, you're
Yeah, I don't need him, carousing with
Anthony
women.
Edwards, and you've got 7 kids or whatever. Like
Exactly. Baby mama drama.
Yeah, we don't need that.
that's actually really smart. And then like
It's a good mom, I suppose. She's keeping him. Yeah.
You just called her crazy.
But she is crazy.
she's not.
She take care of
I
her
think
baby.
actually that's like, look, he's gonna want to get some type thing, and he's gonna not be thinking with the right part. She's thinking about some of these women are looking at you not as
She's thinking about this, which is not a wedding ring. It's Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that, but it's also the thinking about the pocketbook. Like some women out there with some of these athletes, they're going for, they see cha-ching.
But that's
If I have a baby with this guy,
that's an actual culture.
Hey, I'm
I'm
connected
set.
to him.
I'm set for life.
That's why no, she's not crazy at all.
Yeah.
She's protecting him.
This is a topic that one day we will talk about on the Hangout because I know a lot about. Not I don't personally know a lot about this, but I've read a lot about it. Okay, Saunders didn't go. He didn't go first round. What are your thoughts on that?
He's not a good
stinks.
quarterback. He's not a good quarterback.
It's because I'm hearing that like he just kind of bombs his interviews.
He built an entire draft room with like legendary and stuff all over
Yeah.
it for his house, and he's
Yeah.
not even a legendary quarterback.
Yeah.
No, but he wasn't
He's
a good quarterback.
He's just a rich kid kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Where you see like Hunter is, I think comes from a poor background.
Well, that is not.
Yeah.
It's just but he's a talented player. Like he went and won a Heisman for a reason.
Yeah.
Saunders.
Shedeur Sanders has not had good numbers in the NCAA.
He's Bronny James.
Yeah.
yeah.
Should he
essentially.
go to the NFL with the team? Sure. Somebody should take a shot at him. Somebody
Yeah.
should bring him in.
Yeah.
Just like Bronny James should be on an NBA team. It's not like I think he went too soon, but he should be on an NBA team. But is he going to be great? They deserve the attention that they get right now? No.
Like
Saunders doesn't deserve the
within
attention.
like as recent as like 3 weeks ago, Shedeur Sanders was projected to go in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
He is falling.
Mm-hmm.
He is falling. But there are some teams like the Giants picked up that Zach Polk from Mississippi State. That guy is the Josh Allen 2.0. Like that guy could change that organization immediately. He was by far the number one quarterback prospect. They were even saying it last night. I know, but
I don't like the QB class this year.
well,
I don't think
yeah.
there's a game changer.
There's a few of them left.
I don't think we're gonna look back on this draft and like that player made a big difference.
You know what my Commanders went out and did? Got a big, athletic, offensive tackle.
I love when my teams draft alignment.
Protect
Both sides of the
Daniels,
ball.
baby.
Don't care. Those are the drafts I love.
Yes.
They're not sexy, but it's
No.
like, yeah.
I remember when they drafted Will Scherf. I was like, yes, we got a guard. We can protect somebody.
I'll be intrigued where Saunders does go in the end, though.
Yeah.
Or Sanders. I'll be intrigued like what team takes the shot in, because now you're in the position of who wants the circus of Sanders around you now. Who's going to be willing to take the circus where this is going to be a story because of who his dad is? There's a few teams I could see maybe jumping into the circus, but there's a lot of teams I also think just going to sit there and be like, we're not bringing this media circus in for some guy who's going to be our backup or a third string quarterback. It's not worth our time. Go away.
He could pull a Lamar Jackson though, and light a fire under his ass.
Nope.
Lamar was more talented.
I'm sorry. I have not believed that Shedeur Sanders has been good since he came to Colorado.
Mhm.
Like I just, it's nothing about him personally. I could care less about, I like Dion. I think Dion's a good guy for the game. I think he's good for the sport. I obviously had loved watching him play, but the nepotism part of it, whatever.
Like Lamar
He
Jackson
just is not good. He just simply is not good. And they hung his name and number from the
rafters?
stadium
Yeah.
at Colorado.
Again, nepotism.
that's-
right?
Lamar
Yeah.
was a Heisman
He had a
Trophy
losing
winner.
record there, I believe.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
Lamar was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah.
That's where, and then the only reason Lamar dropped
And by the
was
way,
because people didn't think he should have been according. They wanted to be wide receiver, tight end, and the Ravens proved that those people were stupid for that sense.
what's Lamar's probably greatest, well, maybe not greatest weapon, but one of his biggest weapons? His legs.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders cannot run.
No.
And you know,
And Lamar wasn't known for his throwing.
unless you have a Josh
Right?
Allen-like receiver or a quarterback that can stand in the pocket and be a gunslinger, mind you, Josh Allen can also run. But you know, that's just how tough it is to be an NFL quarterback and have the proper characteristics. Smitty the Welder asks who I think is going to get drafted first overall in the CFL draft. I have no clue.
This is an issue I have with the CFL. We don't know who's up there.
Well, it's probably going to be, it's not going to be a quarterback. It's not going to be a running back. It's not going to be a skilled player. It's going to be a linebacker, a D lineman, or an offensive lineman.
Well, and
Book
this is
it. I just don't know who. You look at every mock draft and it's like, well, nobody knows.
why, and this is where I have an issue with. Like, I feel like, well, one, we don't have enough coverage of our youth sports athletes to know what's going on. It's hard to find information on. You need to pay for Canada West to watch Canada West games. You need to pay. And until they get to the semis and the Vanier Cup, you don't get to watch college football or university football in our country. I wish TSN did a better job of highlighting youth sports throughout the CFL season. Like, why not on Friday Night Football do we not have a segment during a halftime show that's here's the top players from last week in youth sport? Here's Dwayne Ford's latest, rankings of top Canadians for this year's draft. So throughout the entire CFL season, or I guess from Labor Day on, we're paying attention to, who are the potential prospects? So that leads us to a CFL draft where we're like, we know these players. Like, yeah, Curtis Rourke's going to be available. He's not going to get taken till late because he's probably going to sign on. If he doesn't get drafted in the next couple of days, he's going to sign with the NFL team. You're not wasting an early draft pick on him. There's a couple of there's another Canadian quarterback that's been working out and he might get drafted. Those guys now, like once the NFL starts looking at you, they're later draft picks. So the sexy picks don't even go early in the CFL draft because
No, they don't.
You don't want them. You don't want to take a first round pick and all of a sudden you don't see them for 5 years, if ever. You're going to use a third or a fourth round pick. But that's where I really wish that the TSN did a better job of telling us throughout the season, here are the best players, Canadian players right now in youth sports. So that we can then have, that's awesome. Like,
Well, you could look to the combine and say those are the top, those are the highest regarded picks that are eligible for the draft.
I have to be a full nerd to go look at the combine. Why not tell the casual person? Like the casual NFL fan knew who Sanders was. They knew who Travis Hunter was. They knew who Cam Ward was to a large degree.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know who the number
That's
one
a fair
pick
point.
would be. So do us a favor and tell us. Give us that information throughout the year so that, like, even if I watched Canada West, I don't know who the best players are. I'm not that brilliant at this. Give me a Dwayne Ford mock draft once a week from Labor Day on. Have him tell me these are the first. You don't even have to put the teams there. Here's the first 9 picks I project that will happen if the CFL draft were held today. And give us a little package that goes around. This is what's happening here. That's what I would.
Yeah,
like
get Dave Naylor on it. Get him to put something together. Send it out. But in the nasty chat, who said this? Prez. He said Ashton Genty is going to be a beast, and I think he's right. Speaking of first round picks, and we talked to this yesterday with Stuart Johnston. You know what would help a lot of this with CFL is that full year fantasy and having a dedicated fantasy for the CFL. It would get people engaged more in the CFL, and how valuable some of those first round picks are in your draft. If you have a keeper league, whatever, that would help. But this Ashton Genty, I think that might be the with Travis Hunter. You have the people that come out of these drafts and are like game changers right away. He's one of them with the Raiders.
There's almost a little bit of a return of the running back in the NFL right now.
Good.
Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley are maybe showing the teams that, we should bring in running backs. I got to take a little issue with Mr. Gerbic in the nasty chat. U Sports doesn't have enough coverage. It's not like you guys operate a sports talk station in a city with a great U Sports school. Cover it more. I will take offense to that in a way because we covered the Golden Bears. I'll just stick on football on this because we're talking about football. I think pretty well last year.
Absolutely.
Chris Morris was sitting exactly where you are before the season began, for an hour looking ahead to the Golden Bears football season. Chris Morris was on your show many times throughout the football season.
Yep.
And it was discussed quite a bit, the Golden Bears football.
Golden Bears hockey.
And then we got into
Golden
hockey.
Bears, Pandas basketball. We talk about it.
We do talk about the Golden Bears. Do I know what's going on with the UBC Thunderbirds? Absolutely not. How are we going to know more about them? How are we going to talk more about them? How are we going to know more about what's going on with Laura? Like, we're focused on so many things, but we do focus on the local team here. And we did talk about them. So to you weren't paying attention. Maybe next time pay attention, and you'll see that. When the Golden Bears football team announced Boone Stevenson as their new head coach, he was on this station, I believe, with you and Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you're
I believe I broke
or you're
it.
new to the show.
I believe you did break it.
Yeah,
We do.
I think I did. Because we pay
Lots
attention
of-
to
yeah.
it.
We
You
did
even
have.
I talked about this yesterday, and he was in the chat yesterday, and I understand it. He's, you know what, probably a passionate person about local football, as am I. I mean, I was the vice president of the Wildcats for 2 years before I came here. I was the president of the Golden Bears alumni for 10 years before I did that. I'm Mr. Football here. I love it. I want more of it. And it will be, it happened last year. It'll be happening a lot more this year. But yeah, that's the heartbeat of getting people engaged in football and people engaged in CFL is, hey, if you don't want to watch that or don't, it's like hockey, I guess is the best way to say. If you don't have the money to go to an Oilers game, well, go watch the Golden Bears play. Go watch the Nate Ooks play. It is very good hockey. It's the same as CIS football or U Sports football. It is excellent football at one of the nicest facilities going on a Friday night. You go down there, $5 beers at Footfield, and you're laughing. You're having a great time.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot more attention to that for sure. We should get Bone on soon because I think their spring camp's starting soon.
And then that's I just will take offense to that because we feel like do a pretty decent job. Could we do a little bit more? Absolutely. But we're doing something, and we only have so much manpower here, and there's so many other things to get into.
So many things
that we're like. I feel like we do enough. Now, what does TSN do? Like, and I'll call them out. What do they do for U Sport during their CFL season?
What does Global do? What does CTV do? What
Are they doing that little bit
places do?
that
Nothing.
I called out there for Mr. Gerber?
Can I just say Tom Gazzola, our one and only, has tweeted that it looks like Pickard is starting in net today.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines.
Yeah, and Bob Stauffer just released lines too. So
Okay, what do we got?
okay, go for it.
Go with Stauffer.
Okay, let's go with Staff. He said the morning skate looked like Dry, McDavid, Hyman.
Oh boy.
Okay, we got Paul Coulson. We got Nuge, Arvidsson. Okay, third line, Kane, Henrique Brown. And then Frederick. Hopefully he
At
doesn't
center?
do the stanky like no.
No, she's going left, center, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jan Mark Perry, and then Skinner Jones, Ryan Kapanen.
Out. So Jay Skins appears to be out again.
Yeah.
Which, all right. Yeah, Kevin Van Dassler says exactly what I said. What about like Global? What about CD?
Well,
They're not doing it.
Well, I will defend Global a little bit right away here. Klingberg with Bouchard, Nurse with Emberson, Kulak with Wallman. That's your deep pairings. Picker getting the start. Troy Sketcher is skating.
Okay.
This is according to Daniel Jim Bowman. Josh Brown is skating. Cam Dineen isn't. Preston Hodgkinson, who does stuff with Daily Hive. He also had, Bouchard's either getting demoted or Klingberg promoted. The two are skating on a pair this morning.
Yeah.
I would say based off Klingberg's game, in game 2, that's a promotion for him, not a demotion for Evan Bouchard. John Klingberg was actually one of the very few bright spots for the Edmonton Oilers in that game. Global used to do the best job when it came to covering local sports, Jay. Then they got rid of their sports department. They did bring back Slav.
Yeah.
I think, I haven't watched Global in a long time. I feel like they're one of the things that he's back for is he's supposed to do those local stories. So there are those local stories. I will give credit to at least the very least before Global used to do that better than anyone else in the city. And CTV has no dedicated sports person. They don't cover any of it. CTV is there's no excuses for CTV.
I'm not saying it's not for trying for what is a depleted sports department at both of those places. I know Slav does a lot of that stuff. He's probably the only one left.
That's what I'm saying. I think
that actually cares.
Well, I think he's the only local person.
Well, and he's involved in the local sports community too. He's very involved in the local basketball community. So he gets it. And it's people like that get it, that will actually try to do it. Because if you don't talk about it, this stuff will fade away. It will. It'll be eaten up and it's gone. Nobody's going to talk about it. That's what I love about Edmonton Sports Talk, is that, you know what? You may not want to hear it, but if you hear it enough and you say, okay, fine, screw this, I'm going to give this a try. You're going to go there and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was a very fulfilling day. That was a great way to take my family to a Wildcats game or a Huskies game or a Stingers game or a Riverhawks game or a Bears game or an Ooks game and say, wow, I only spent $40 to get in here with my whole family. Probably make the whole event under $100, and you get an afternoon or evening of live sports that you can get engaged to of teams that are from your city, right? That's our role. That's a major part of our MO, I think, here at Edmonton Sports Talk, is to keep that in front of you. Whether I know there's a lot of people, Oilers. I get it, and that's where we are right now. Yes, you're right. Right now,
Yes,
Oilers.
yeah, it's game day.
But there's going to be a time when that's not relevant at this time. And we're going to find other things that are, and by golly, we're going to cover them.
Well, to our detriment, sometimes we'll cover other things. Our numbers can go down at times when we're talking about local sports.
Hit the
There
like
isn't
right now.
as much
We got a lot of people watching.
focus at times when we have those interviews with the Golden Bears football or whatever. We could do Oilers 24/7, 365 all year, and that's it. We choose not to because we're Edmonton Sports Talk, and sometimes our numbers take a hit for that. But we're going to keep doing that because that's what we believe in.
Hey, and that's why I like to talk about association and NFL, and I still want to talk about this draft.
We talked about the draft.
The NFL draft?
We talked about Cam Ward.
Okay, but what about the Packers drafting Matthew Golden, a wide receiver? This has happened first time in 23 years that Green Bay has done this. Like, there's some headlines here to talk about.
The LA Kings, it's at Let's Go Kings. Tom tweeted out Calvin Pickard working the starters net this morning. Oilers looking for a big game from him to get back into the series. Showed a picture of him in the net, to which the Let's Go Kings official account from on Twitter posted a picture of "We want Skinner." Excellent troll job.
What do you have to say about the Packers then?
No, and just thinking about Rodgers and, and by the way, I think Sanders would go to Pittsburgh because they need a quarterback. And he would be like, their number one guy.
Doesn't Pittsburgh have Justin Fields?
No,
No, he's in
he's
the
Jets.
Jets.
Oh yeah,
This is the third straight year their entire quarterback room is being turned over.
Wilson's
Yeah.
gone,
But they
yeah.
brought someone back that was there 2 years ago. Who was it? I'd have to look.
Yeah, I forgot that he went to the Jets.
Yep.
That's the craziest thing about some of the carousel in the NFL is it just wow. Okay, let's get a reaction here, Jasmine. What do you think about these line pairings? You want to go through them again? Just for those that are
I'll
joining.
go through it
go
right
for
away
it.
here.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to quickly see who the
While you're doing that, one more thing about the draft.
Mason Rudolph's back with the Steelers.
Oh yeah, good.
Oh.
Yeah, there's the real game
Whatever.
changer.
Yeah, exactly. So are we gonna do lines, or I was gonna just quickly talk about
Go ahead.
Wisconsin just being turned yesterday. There was like 125,000 people outside.
200.
200?
That was a
Ian
crazy
Rappaport.
crowd.
That was so crazy, right? It was
Yes.
like a music festival.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It looked like a Metallica or an AC/DC like playing Central Park.
Aaron
vibe.
Ravel put a great point where he says, I'll have to see if I can quickly find the tweet because it was, the Super Bowl isn't the reason the NFL is king. It's the fact that they have that many people to watch 32 people get selected is why the NFL
Well,
is king.
they wanted to watch, I think, 27 get selected because once the Green Bay pick came in, it was gone.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But there's a lot of people that still travel to this and you see it everywhere, but you're getting that many people
It's a
show up.
spectacle. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it got more ratings than like the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. Like people were more tuned into the draft, which is just wild.
You know who I
America.
could do without? You know who I could do without? I've seen him enough.
Mel Kiper?
Mel Kiper.
You're watching the Ron broadcast.
Go into the night. Be gone.
Don't watch that broadcast.
I don't like him on that
You
broadcast.
should go to ABC and watch the College Game Day crew guys.
Yeah.
It's Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah.
It's,
Give me Herbie.
Nick Saban.
Saban. Well, they were both
it's
on with
Desmond
SVP.
Howard and it's Reese Davis.
Oh, that's a lineup.
And you want to know something? It's one of those things too where, okay, if I'm watching the ESPN one, those teams know the NFL teams better. The Kirk Herbstreits and the Desmond Howards and the Nick Sabans know the college football player better. And so if they're going to explain that college football to me, like it's a much better broadcast. I will always go to that one over Mel Kiper. I have an issue with Mel Kiper. The Darren Rovell tweet is Super Bowl doesn't prove that the NFL is king. Having 250,000 people standing in a parking lot to hear 32 names being called in 4 hours does. Mel Kiper, years ago, it came out in a Sports Illustrated article that he got paid by an agent to pump up a player's draft.
Like Shitter Sanders?
And you want to, that's what I'm thinking this.
He couldn't stop talking about him.
He couldn't talk about Cam Ward. He was talking about Sanders, apparently.
No, but he
Right?
did it all night last night.
I know,
They're like,
that's what I'm
they'd be
saying.
stupid not to take him
Cam
here.
Ward gets selected, but they're talking about Sanders on that main ESPN broadcast.
That's why,
I don't, ever since then, I don't trust Mel Kiper.
No.
I don't care. Like, once I heard from that one story that he got paid
He's not
to
credible.
bump up, it's not credible anymore,
Yeah.
so I don't care. And yeah, if I'm also going to give me Kirk Herbstreit, Nick Saban, and Desmond Howard with Reese Davis, I'm taking that any day. Here are the Oilers' lines. Again, McDavid with Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge with Buttcoles and Arvidsson, Henrik with Kane and Brown, Janmark with Frederick and Perry, Klingberg, Bouchard, Nurse, Amberson, Kulak, Wallman, Pickard getting the start. Your thoughts?
Good. Fine.
I don't know. Like, I mean, what are you changing? What are you doing different here that's going to suggest that this is a different team tonight?
Pickard.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You're bumping up Klingberg.
you're
messing with
keeping
the Ds.
RNH
Yep.
at center.
I
That's
don't,
the big one.
I don't see you're keeping RNH at center. You're keeping McDavid with Draisaitl. You can't. Who else goes to second line center?
Draisaitl. Like,
right, right. You're choosing what. This isn't a keeping Nuge at second or at center as a second line center. This is we need to keep McDavid and Draisaitl together because they're just that good together. That's and then by default, Nuge has to be your second line center. If you're Chris Noble, you're viewing that the
every game day, Oilers fans are looking to Twitter around this time of the day saying, "Oh, what's the line's going to look like?" That's problematic. Right there, that's almost admission of guilt that you don't have the horses to get it done on a regular basis. You got to jumble the lines and switch things up. I mean, Klingberg is paired with Bouchard. Like, are we anointing Klingberg after one mediocre average plus 2 ticks game? That's how bad the state is here. That's how bad things are.
It's
That's
also though,
that's,
but the flip side though is if the Oilers were up 2-0 in this series, the Kings would be changing lines today. When you're losing, you got to try something.
Sure, but it's a product of
it's
it's a product of losing. It's a product of not being able to get it together. And Ryan Nugent Hopkins has done diddly squat in the first 2 games at center.
Mhm.
Reed and I were questioning yesterday whether you put him back up there with McDavid and Hyman. Just go like it was, right? Get Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Arvidsson and put Kane and sort those bottom 6 out. This suggests to me like they think that, and maybe Matt, maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe this is a quiet confidence in this group saying, no, we can do it. We just need to, focus or, take this game plan on differently, dictate the game more. And having Connor and Leon on the top line says maybe you can get off to a hot start doing that.
I'm going to try to be Chris Knobloch here, but just the official drink of the EST Hangout. Want to throw it out there. It is the Finnish long drink legend in 1952 drink, unlike any other sparkling refreshment. Real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada.
Nice
and
throw.
take a postal code and find an establishment or a liquor store nearest you with it in stock. Or if you're heading down to the game tonight, you could get it at Rogers Place. Okay, here's the question that I would maybe Chris Knobloch goes. Okay. Our special teams needs to improve. These lines don't mess with that.
100%.
Special teams needs to improve. If it wasn't for a bad stretch of, I'm trying to figure out how many minutes it was in game 2. We were down by a goal. We were going to win that hockey game. We were going to get the equalizer. We were going to tie it. We are going to then win the game. These lines were working again. If it wasn't for a bad, 4 minutes stretch or somewhere when the Kings took it 4-2, then it was 5-2, and then 6-2 doesn't even really matter at that point. Maybe that's what Chris Knobloch's thinking here. This was working. Like, we had a good first period in game 2. Didn't have the lead, but a good first period. Ended up being only down by a goal early in that third period. This is going to work if you're Chris Knobloch. If we clean up the mistakes. And special teams is, again, it's a side thing. It doesn't mess with these lines. But if we clean up a little bit of those mistakes, these lines were going to work. And that's what he's going with.
Doesn't seem like people are really happy about the Klingberg and with Bouchard.
Klingberg with Bouchard restores the other two pairs to normalcy. No, that comes from VR. Aiden O'Neill, we got pumped last game with McDavid and Dry together. Should change that instead of putting a healthy scratch demon on the top pair and a top 5 goal scorer on the team. Scratched. And those are fair points. I'm just trying to come up with maybe a rationale of what's going through Chris Knobloch's mind in that.
Well,
like
okay, and just to add to that, Coach Mike on the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. How important is scoring the first goal for the Oilers tonight? Is that suggested and is that
Jasmine
relayed?
said that too.
Yeah,
yes.
But
key.
now is that right? Is that what he's saying by keeping that nuclear option intact? Is getting on the board quick. That would support your theory that they did play well.
Yeah.
They were down 1-0 going into the second last game.
Yeah.
Oilers fans were probably collectively sighing like, whew, that's not bad. You can take that. So yeah, I am I a fan of it personally? No.
What change would you like to see?
I would have liked to seen them go back to RNH. Yes.
So McDavid, Dry, Nuge, Henrique, your four centers?
McDavid, Dry, Henrique, Janmark.
Oh, okay.
As those 4 centers. McDavid with Nuge and Hyman.
Yeah.
Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Arvidsson. Henrique with Perry and Kane. I want to see Perry and Kane on the same line. I think that would do that would be fun.
I like that.
That would be a disruptive line, or it could be potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Am I a fan? No, I'm not because it's not suggesting that change is necessary or that something needs to be shook up. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, like I said, it was a momentum thing, right? So let's try this again.
Reminder, Tommy will be at the Canadian Ice House.
It's Friday.
For the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. That gets going at 6:30 right here at Edmonton Sports Talk. Him, Tommy, Hernan, and Cass will have you set for that. Before that is an extended edition of the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne from 3 until 6:30. We got EST Afternoons. We got the Oil Stream. Tommy will be joining Dusty from his satellite studio from Rogers Place. And giving you the latest info from practice today, as well as what the players and coaches are saying. And then we also got the lock shop coming up in a little bit. This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts, more than 2 decades helping Canadians through life's transitions. By Canadian and Canadian storage provider, sentinel.ca for more information. Jasmine, Glue Guy, Matt with you here on the Hangout on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports. What are you looking at me like that for?
I think that's Chris G or Chris D. I forget what
D.
Chris D.
And then the nasty chatter was Chris G.
Yeah, I think Chris D is here.
Oh, is he?
Maybe he's picking up a prize.
I got to go.
This comes in from an unnamed texter. These lines are not much of a change. 97 and 29 only works if they score first. Other lines can't generate. Unless special teams dominate, these lines and pairings lose the game.
Yeah, I'm confident in the Oilers tonight. They go through their ebbs and even in the last 6 weeks or whatever, where they've had their struggles with injuries and stuff, they've gone through their ebbs and flows. They lose a couple of games and they go win a couple of games. I find it really hard to believe. And I came into this series thinking that the Oilers are in trouble. I came into this series thinking that the Kings are going to be a tough challenger. But I didn't think the LA Kings are just going to go walk over the Edmonton Oilers and sweep them. I do believe that when you have a Leon and a Connor, just having those two is good enough for 1 or 2 wins by themselves, right? And we haven't had that yet. So I feel like tonight's going to be that night where those two guys carry the Edmonton Oilers without question to a victory. And then you add the crowd, and that's why Sunday is going to be such a pivotal game.
This is an interesting point that came in as well. Hey, folks, great hangout. Just wanted to get your opinion on something that I was chatting about yesterday. Do you think the fact that the Oilers will have last change tonight is going to play into this and maybe even into these pairings? That's a great point, right? I mean,
I
that
think
makes
it
a big
helps.
difference.
Yes,
Yes,
especially when you're on the nuclear option.
Yes, especially if these are the lines,
If those
especially in this situation.
You could put Nuge out there where you think maybe is a better matchup for him, and you could see what's happening for when you want to put McDavid and Draisaitl out there. I do think that is a bit of an advantage. And the flip side to all this, that we've mentioned that we've talked about the LA Kings. I think Tommy brought it up yesterday, or somebody texted it in. The LA Kings have a great home record. They're great at home. They do not have a good road record.
Exactly.
So for whatever. Now, with that said, they came to Edmonton and they rolled through a depleted Oilers team a couple weeks ago. Just rolled through them. But this isn't a team that necessarily goes on the road and is the same LA Kings team. We do have to recognize that with this LA Kings. I Reed's right when I brought it up on the Hangout yesterday. I said, can the Kings sustain this power play success and special team success for long? You could do it for a series. I do agree with that. I just hard to believe that with the LA Kings. Maybe that one I'm just not a believer in. I don't think you could keep that team could keep a 50% pace on the power play.
TBD, bro.
Just quite a few more hours to wait till we figure it out, brah.
So funny. Like, usually I have so much to say, and I just don't know what to say.
You have nervous energy.
I do.
It's fine.
Just so many butterflies. I just want to say anything.
What could you say right now if you could say anything? Not even Oilers related. Just anything. Just blurt it out.
It's stag season.
There we go. Round of clicks. Stag season. What's stag? Oh, like stags, like you're gonna get married stag?
Yeah, like everybody's on their stags right now, guys and girls.
I thought you meant stag chili.
Yeah.
I love stag chili.
It has beans in it. It's not. It's home style.
It's home style.
It's
yeah.
home style.
I prefer home style chilies.
I'm a traditionalist.
Few injuries in the NBA. I guess we can quickly talk about that.
Well, we got Lakers Timberwolves tonight. I'll be watching at Rogers Place on my phone.
Yeah, you will be.
Well, yeah.
I'm actually debating.
OKC's comeback last night was crazy. Did you hear the bettors that bet? Who's
what happened?
Memphis.
Yeah.
Money line. They were cashed out.
Yeah.
Because once you get to a certain point spread, they cash you out.
Yeah.
They say you won the bet, and if they took, and then you could also have bet on the OKC money line and won both bets. Oddly enough.
Weird.
What?
Yeah, they must be pissed that they cashed out those betting outlets.
That's
it
wild.
happens on sites. Like if you're up like a certain amount of score.
I know, but they must be pissed about that line right now.
It's kind of a loyalty bonus for your bettors to say, okay, if they're up by 20 points, you get your bet. We assume the money line won. And then Memphis or OKC came back to win.
29-point deficit.
Crazy.
Isn't
I'm
that
debating
wild?
whether to bring a laptop or use my phone for the game.
Well, bring your laptop. Do it right. At least it looks like you're doing work.
Yeah, but I have people. Well, if I just have a game, I think the Oilers brass sits right behind me.
Yeah.
Who cares?
You don't want to be disrespectful. It is the playoffs.
Sports talk, not Edmonton
Maybe
Oilers
just
talk.
watch on your
I'm not
phone.
there. I'm not watching it as a media member at that point. I'm watching it as a fan of Lakers.
Use your phone.
Use your phone. You don't want that brightness and all that to disturb other people, right? If they're concentrating, it's a big game today, right?
We're very bright up there. That doesn't change anything.
Brother Maddie, you were gonna do what you were gonna do anyway. Why are you asking? Okay, Jimmy Butler.
I wasn't asking. I was just saying I'm debating that. It wasn't a question.
Jimmy Butler left the game. He did not return. This is huge for Golden State. John Morant, he was flung from the air, and Russell Westbrook also left.
Wait, he was flung from the air?
Yeah, he jumped up. I think it was Chet that just ran into him, and he flipped and just went face first right into the wood. So,
they'll all be back next game anyways.
well, I don't know about Jimmy Butler though. Although it is a bruise, I think so.
He'll be back.
We'll see. But there's some notable things in the NBA there. But yeah, I think that this Lakers series is probably the most interesting.
That one I'm nervous about tonight. Lakers need it big time.
Are they favored? No.
Can't go down 2-1, brah.
Timberwolves are favored -3.5. Let's go Ant-Man. He's hilarious.
Quickly, I do want a great interview with Stuart Johnson between you and Reed.
He was fantastic.
He's very good.
The newly minted commissioner of the CFL, Stuart Johnston, was on the Reed Wilkins show yesterday.
3:30. So if you go to the back on podcast or whatever, first hour, about 30 minutes in.
And he's hyped to talk to you guys too.
I would watch it. I would watch it for the simple fact that if you are wondering what direction the CFL is heading in, looking at Stuart Johnston gives you hope, positive hope. I said to Reed right after the interview that the commissioner talk was very limited.
Yeah.
It was almost as if we were sitting at a pub having a pint together, just talking about things that matter to us and our fandom of the CFL. what things that were brought up, the expansion to 10 teams, the possibility of fantasy football, to which he said that they are already in talks with platforms that have designated fantasy applications. So I would put money on it. I don't know this year, but CFL full year fantasy is coming. And I think that's going to be a game changer.
It's a lot of fun. As going into my 10th year of it, it's a lot of fun.
I told him a question that I asked my flag football, my 10-11 flag football team.
He had a good answer on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
It's what he has to say. Like, it's
true, again, but it didn't really answer the question of how to engage the next generation.
He's new on the job, and I would rather him right now with the last commish. He said too much. He had too many ideas. He said, and if you don't live up to them, people look like, oh, you're not getting your job.
You know what
done.
I didn't tell him?
Undersell it. Is
that every kid on that team had an NFL team.
Sure.
That they know of and they like.
Sure.
2 of them out of the 11 knew what the Edmonton CFL team's name was.
Sure.
That's a problem.
Yeah. And I don't think he doesn't know that, but he's going to be positive yesterday and look at the positive way. It is a great interview. Go check it out. Again, I'm glad he undersold things as opposed to.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was very, very well
The
received.
last commish oversold and didn't deliver, and then you sit there and I said he said a lot yesterday without actually saying anything, and I'm okay with that from a commissioner in the early days. That's going to be it for the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage here in your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Lock Shop coming up next. We've got Oil Stream. We've got EST Afternoons. We've got the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne until 6:30. An extended edition GSL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live from the Canadian Ice House, 6:30 till 8. And then we will have the postgame show for you after Hello Hockey tomorrow at 10 o'clock, as well as GCL Diesel Oil Stream pre and postgame shows on Sunday to get you set. The pregame show will get going at 6 because that game is 7:30. Jasmine, it's good having you back on the show.
I'll be on Monday.
You guys have a wonderful weekend. Jay, looking forward to the show later this afternoon.
Weekend.
It's going to be a big day. Let's go.
What a day. I'm so nervous.
On behalf of Jasmine, Jay, I am Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go. Right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today